Once you make these nachos, you will never order them from a restaurant again because they will always be subpar. This is one of the easiest dinners you can make, and since literally everybody loves nachos, you can't go wrong. We're gonna start it the right way with a pound of ground beef in a skillet. Ground beef is kind of the go-to classic option, plus it's a little cheaper, but you can use any meat you want, including like leftover shredded pork, or you can even like chop up a steak or something if you're really bougie. You just use a spoon to break it up, and we're gonna cook it until it's nice and browned. If you've got extra grease, you wanna drain it, and then we're gonna add in our homemade chocolate seasoning. And you just let this toast for 60 to 90 seconds. And that's how you get the most flavor. Then you add in a 1/4 cup of water, and then a 15-ounce can of refried beans. Listen, the beans are optional, but the great thing about nachos is that it's such an easy stretch meal. So if you're trying to save a few bucks, you can even add in an extra can. I'm gonna dump a whole bag of chips onto a baking sheet. You just pretty much use how many ever fit. Make sure you do a single layer because there's nothing worse than having a chip that has no cheese on it. So we're gonna sprinkle 2 cups of cheese directly onto the chips. Now I'm using cheddar, but you can use whatever you want. Anything that melts well, pepper jack, Monterey jack, mozzarella, the Colby jack kind, all of those cheeses that melt, you can use them. Then we're gonna take little spoonfuls of the meat mixture and dollop them all around our nachos. You just wanna make sure you spread out the love. Once again, this is such a good stretch meal because you could easily stretch this to cover 2 sheet pans. And listen, I know this is ugly, but then we're gonna cover it up with another 2 cups of whatever cheese you have that melts. Then pop this in the oven for just 5 to 7 minutes to let the cheese melt. Then once that cheese is gooey and melted, you can either chow down or load it up with all of your favorite toppings. Add on a little pico, or you can use whatever your favorite salsa is. A little controversial, but some sliced black olives always hit the spot for me. Some sliced green onions. Then I'm all about adding on some jalapeno. You can do sliced or mince it up if you can't handle the whole slice. But one of my favorite things to do is grab the jar of pickled jalapenos that I always have in my fridge and load those on. They're a little more mild, and boy, are they delicious. Same thing with pickled red onion. I love to load those on too. A little fresh cilantro, then a few dollops of sour cream and guac, and this is as loaded up of nachos as you can get. All right, before I let the team go to town on these nachos, check them out. These are my loaded nacho recipe right here. One of my favorite easy dinners to make. I make it with ground beef and a little bit of refried beans, which makes it a great stretch meal. You can easily make 2 trays of this. Plus, you could also switch it up and use leftover meat of any kind. Nachos, make some.